Hello everyone and welcome to Tpl Property Media, your go-to space for everything land, planning and urban development. Today, we bring you something truly exceptional, an exclusive wrap-up interview with a living legend in the world of urban and regional planning, Professor Tpl Leke Oduwaye of the University of Lagos. This isn't just another interview, it is a journey into the mind of a pioneer, a mentor, and a man who has helped shape the face of urban planning education and practice in Nigeria. The conversation was so rich, we had to break it down into 14 focused and powerful episodes. In this series, Professor Oduwaye took us through thought-provoking discussion on topics such as the real meaning and purpose of urban planning, why planning education must evolve with time, the challenges and silent battles facing planners today, and his heartfelt advice for young graduates navigating the profession. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. What you will hear in this episode goes beyond theories and definitions. It is about real experiences, untold truths, and timeless wisdom, straight from someone who's been at the very heart of planning in Nigeria for decades. If you are a student of planning, a practicing professional, an academic, or someone passionate about building better cities, this series is for you. Every episode is like a masterclass. Every word is loaded with insights. And every minute spent watching will leave you more informed, more inspired, and more determined to make an impact. So, start with episode 1 and stay with us through the episode 14. Trust us, you don't want to miss a single one. Let's dive in. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on more transformational content like this.
Okay, so as a planning scholar, would like for you to kindly educate the public and our viewers on the nature of urban and regional planning.
Yeah, thank you very much for the honor to be here to discuss with me on planning, education, and planning. What I mean by planning now is town planning. Let's concentrate on planning, because we most often use this term of urban and regional planning. Regional planning is another issue entirely. If you have to really dive into regional planning in this discussion, maybe the time will not be enough. So let's just limit our discussion to urban planning, and which we could call town planning. I don't want to go into the conceptual definition of both, or the differences between town and urban. That's one. Then before I go into this discussion, because planning is a discipline, and at the same time is a profession. So by our tradition, we used to respect the foreigners. That's just our tradition. That's why being a profession, you have fellow members, student members, and so in academics too, there is procedure and protocol. So I want to recognize the efforts of the forerunners of planning education in Nigeria. Even though I attended Ife and Ibadan, so maybe most of the people that I can remember easily, they will come from those axes. But let me start from the Ibadan Polytechnic. The late Dr. Batero, for example, he made very impactful contribution to planning, both education and practice. Now that you go to Ibadan, Professor Egunjobi is still alive, an emeritus professor of the University of Ibadan. Professor Agbola, very vibrant, still very vibrant, even though retired from Ibadan. At Ife, late Professor Olajuwon is another person. We have Professor Fadari at Ife, even though retired. Professor Olatu is retired, that supervised my PhD. Professor Okewole. And here at University of Lagos, we have town planner Hakim Oladu. That's just the nature, because planning is a discipline and it's a profession. And you know, by the time you are going to anything that is professional, there is procedure, there is protocol, there is, you know, is it politicians that in their own field at times they do this ambush style that they don't really respect their their seniors and mentors. So that's first. Well, what is planning? And for this discussion, planning, like I said, we are talking about town planning or urban planning. It's about trying to reconcile what is happening on land. That is, to reconcile land uses. And reconciling land uses means reconciling human activities on land, so that you really reduce the conflicts. You create an environment that will make activities very seamless. That is what town planning is doing. And again, you know, by the time you look at that is it possible for human beings to do that, since they are not God? It's only God that can prophesy that this is what I will want an environment to look like. But planning, they are like prophets. What we are doing is that we are trying to project how human settlements would look like urban or cities. And we back this up with theories and so many things that we have land standards, legislation, planning regulations. And with all this, we want to really find a way to create an environment that will be convenient for people to carry out their activities that economically, those carrying out economic activities, the activities will be economically viable. So you don't over-prescribe some activities in some areas. So that is what planning is trying to do. And at the time you are doing this, that is looking at the science aspect of it. At the same time, you are looking at the economics and the social aspect of it. That we want to create some land uses. We have a church. Can I locate a church close to certain residential areas? Will there be conflicts? If you have a mosque near a church, will there be conflicts? It's possible in some areas. It's not possible in some areas. So that's why a planner, you can see that the planner will know a lot of sociology, how human beings will respond to things. At the same time, planning is governed by legislation, because the environment in which planners are operating environment doesn't have boundary. If you want to build your house here, the next house to you, you have your fence, but at the same time, that fence is imaginary. It's just for human beings. So if you are making noise in your own compound, it's affecting the person in the next house. If you are, for example, during festival, during Ileya, or you are during marriage, and you are cooking, there will be pollution. So, if you want to create a shopping complex, let's say in a neighborhood, or a filling station in a neighborhood, it's going to affect activities in that neighborhood. So that's where planning regulations comes into it. That these are the things that you can locate near certain activities, and these are the scale at which you can locate those things. And you know, being human beings, we don't like operating with laws that is regulations that will give you condition on what you can do with your land. It's just human. That is why planning is protected. That's why we have state intervention. Because at times people will be wondering, why do you need to go to town planning to get approval? It's my land, it's my family property. But government knows that if they allow everybody to do what they would like to do on their land, without some professionals or regulations governing what they can even do with your own land, and at what scale you can do those things. And that's where planning comes into it. And you can see, these are things that at times you cannot really, they are not physical. They are not physical. But the final product is on plan, which is physical planning. That is to say, you now put it on drawings, the scale at which you can put all those activities. So what I'm trying to say is that the essence of planning is to reconcile land uses. To reconcile land uses. Land uses should cohabit. There should be residential, there should be commercial, there should be industrial, depending on, there should be recreation. Then how do you locate this activity in such a way that there will be peace, the environment will be pleasant, there will be seamless in terms of human interactions? So these are the things that, if you are not a planner, there's no other profession that knows all these things. It's not like you want to build a house, anybody can design. So there's no person that can design better than an architect. Anybody can do layout. It's really surveyors. But they don't know the issues involved in preparing layout. The sociology aspect of it, the legal requirements in terms of how they should provide certain land uses, at what scale, at what sizes, and so that's where planning comes into it, and that's why it is a specialized discipline. And as long as we don't see it as such, even though everybody would like to live in an environment where that is pleasant, that will be, people will be proud that I live in certain estates, I live in certain neighborhoods. But at the same time, people don't want laws and regulations to guide what they want to do with on their lands. And that is why at a stage you now look at it that, is this product that we call planning really marketable? No, marketable in the sense that, is it something that people accept naturally? You know that the law that says you have to obtain approval, for example. And people going for approval, they think they're going to police station. Because people don't like anything that will control them. They're just human.